Well, it's our top story this afternoon, the snubbing of Harry and Meghan. Despite Meghan celebrating a 42nd birthday in the Californian sun, as I just discussed, Meghan and Harry have been snubbed from attending the commemorative events in relation to the first anniversary of the late Queen's death. That is despite being in Europe anyway for the Invictus Games, a day after the anniversary. So there we go. But really, do you think that King Charles is right to do this? Could he have at least invited Harry? What I think is that he was right, but also it would have given them the perfect opportunity to say no, or we're only coming if this, and start adding conditions onto it. Haven't they shown complete and utter disdain and disrespect for the royal family for the last few years? I mean, Harry couldn't even be bothered to travel with his other relatives to actually see the Queen immediately just before she died on that day. Then we had the coronation. Harry jets in, jets out. Look, why bother with them anymore? Joining me now is Kinsey Schofield, the fabulous Kinsey Schofield, showbiz reporter, fan favourite here on GB News. Kinsey, great stuff. Thank you very, very much. Well, happy birthday, Meghan Markle, first and foremost, I suppose. And the birthday present she's received from King Charles is a snubbing.
That's right. I'm sure she's quite hostile that these headlines are, overshadowing her big 42. She stepped out last night in Montecito. It was the first time we'd seen her in action in quite some time, in real life, not some very generic video that they post on social media. But Pat, I think that this is what royal watchers want. I don't think royal watchers want Harry and Meghan near the family as they remember Queen Elizabeth. These are two individuals that made the last few years of her life a living hell. And from what we understand with, Giles Brandwood's book, is that the last few years, Queen Elizabeth, could quite possibly have been in a lot of pain, suffering from blood cancer. And then you've got Harry and Meghan lobbing grenades at the family, and while slandering them on international television, hijacking Queen Elizabeth's, private nickname for their daughter. It's all just very bizarre.
No, it is indeed. And I think that Charles and William would not have wanted, on that commemoration of our greatest ever ruling monarch's death, to have had that overshadowed by the non-stop tabloid headlines and non-stop mystery surrounding whether or not Harry and Meghan are going to turn up. That day will be difficult enough as it is without introducing some other people who are just going to make it worse selfishly.
That's a great point. But I also think that Harry and Meghan are incredibly toxic, and they have betrayed the royal family, and they can't be trusted. I don't know if you remember Harry's Telegraph interview where he said that certain parts of the book didn't make the cut because they were so damning towards his father and brother. That's concerning, that's information that could inevitably come out. Additionally, Meghan telling The Cut magazine that she never signed an NDA. I mean, that's almost a bit of a threat. I still have information that I can share. So I think that the family is still very wary of Harry and Meghan because they don't trust these individuals.
No, of course. The constant threat, it is no way to treat your family at all. And can I also just add as well, what harm was really done to them? This is the thing. What harm has really happened to those two people as a result of being in and around the royal family to warrant all of this right now? But you said, though, Kinsey, that Meghan was spotted out and about celebrating her birthday with Harry. That's been quite an unusual appearance recently, hasn't it? Rumours have been circulating about their marriage.
Patrick, it's, classic Hollywood. To me, this is my opinion, a classic Hollywood staged photo opportunity where you don't like the headlines, so you thrust yourself out there in the real world to distract from the fact that you don't like the headlines that have been swirling. Are they happily ever after? I mean, we hope so, but I certainly think that we're seeing more of them today because they don't like the fact that it's being reported that things aren't hunky-dory at home.
But where is all of that coming from, right? Well, seriously, where is it all coming from that things aren't hunky-dory at home? I mean, are these reliable sources? Is this just the fact that maybe they haven't been seen together for a little while? What's caused all of this?
I do think if you watch their body language in the latest video that was released, even their body language has changed. Harry it tries to look into Meghan's eyes. Meghan doesn't make eye contact with him. Do you remember when we would see them in public, how they were always touching one another, always clinging to one another? I never complained about it. I don't have an issue with it, but it's their body language is dramatically different. In in Montecito, Meghan is standing feet away from Prince Harry, almost as if the guy's got to catch a ride with somebody else. Like you don't even notice that they're together because she's so far ahead of him. So I think that it's public observation. It's whispers about town. One of the places that I see these rumors is a Hollywood industry blog called crazydaysandnights.net. Radar Online, obviously a tabloid here in the States, are one of the people that have circulated that rumor. But I just think where there's smoke, there's fire. And, obviously we don't wish anything negative upon them. But they're going in two separate directions. Harry going to Singapore next week. Meghan Markle apparently relaunching her Instagram and wanting to take over Hollywood. How long can you be on these professional paths so separately when you started as such a united unit, and make that work?
Well, especially when we saw Harry darting off from the King's coronation because he had to go back and make his child's birthday party. That was the line, wasn't it? Which implies to me either A, you are such a close-knit family that you can't be away and that you want to be present for a birthday no matter what. So that's taking that at face value. I suppose the other side of it is, hang on a minute, what's going on at home where your wife would say to you, I'm going to get very angry if you don't leave your father's coronation immediately and come back home now and celebrate the birthday. And then since then, we are seeing them both going on these different paths. I mean, who's looking after the kids when all of this is happening, for goodness sake? It just doesn't all add up, Kinsey.
And there's a New People magazine article out here in the States that talks about the Spotify deal blowing up and Harry and Meghan complaining that they weren't prepared. They weren't given the lay of the land. There was too much red tape. Patrick, it makes me scream because it's just 2.0. There was no one to help me within the royal family. I didn't have any guidance within the royal family. At what point do these two individuals take a look in the mirror and start taking responsibility for everything that doesn't work out, their failures, versus pointing the finger at somebody else? And it makes you wonder if at this point in time, perhaps they're pointing the finger at each other.
You know what I think didn't play well for King Charles? He's had an incredibly difficult job on his hands following the Queen. I mean, it's the impossible job. No one could have done that at all. And so for that, I do feel quite sorry for him in a sense. But I didn't think it played well for him the way that the royal family rolled over and died when it came to Ngozi Fulani, or Marlene Headley, as I believe she is actually called, the lady who basically said that Lady Susan Hussey was essentially treating her in a racist way. There was a big apology about all of this and a big, we've got to row back on everything. And that didn't play well with a lot of royalists in this country. We just thought, no, I'm sorry, that's bonkers. You're giving in. Then there was olive branch after olive branch after olive branch to Harry and Meghan. That I think, after a point, stopped playing well. Now, if this really is the case, which is that, look, we're not even going to ask, we're not even going to talk to you about whether or not you want to come to help commemorate the one-year anniversary of our Queen's death, that, I think, will actually play very well for King Charles in the opinion polls, because I think we've had enough of Harry and Meghan, and it's quite nice to know that he probably has as well.
It shows backbone, and I think a lot of people will be relieved to see that. Absolutely. It says, you're not going to disrespect our family. This is a private time. We're going to honor one of the greatest monarchs in history without you, because you're not one of us, and you've chosen that path yourself. Not only that, but you continue to try to bring the monarchy and our family down with whatever interview they're doing today or tomorrow. So I think you're absolutely right. It shows backbone.
I think that's it. It does show a little bit of courage. It does show a bit of backbone. And King Charles, I think, has to prioritise William in all of this. William is next in line to the throne. William will be leading this country through whatever difficult times there are in the future. William has, shown a lot of resolve and a lot of character. Been through, by the way, almost exactly the same life experiences as Prince Harry. Almost exactly the same life experiences, and not turned out anything like that guy, and clearly wants to do his best for the country, and kept his mouth shut, stood by his family through the Prince Andrew saga, through the Harry and Meghan saga, through everything else. And if William says, look, I'm sick and tired of Harry, he's dished the family dirt, he's a traitor, I don't want him anywhere near us, then I think Charles has to draw a line in the sand there and say, you know what, it's not nice to have favourites as a dad, but I've got a favourite now. But there we go. Kinsey, thank you very much. Great to have you on the show. As ever, looking as radiant as always. Kinsey Schofield, their showbiz reporter.